California's Gold is produced in association with KCET Los Angeles and is seen statewide on California Public Television. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association.
Warm sunshine, swaying palm trees, and breathtaking ocean views make Orange County the OC, a relaxing vacation destination that is always in season. 42 miles of inviting beaches are right next door to world-class shopping and internationally renowned art festivals. Close by are championship golf courses and two of California's famous attractions, the Disneyland Resort and Knott's Berry Farm. Log on to visittheoc.com today. Learn why in the OC, it's forever summer.
Costa Mesa, the best of Southern California for pleasure or business. You'll find there's plenty to do from morning till midnight. Just minutes from sparkling beaches. In Costa Mesa, dining's an art and shopping's a passion. Savor attractions like South Coast Plaza and the renowned Theater and Arts District. Choose from 9 luxury hotels, then dine, shop, and play in Costa Mesa, where it's all about the experience.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell Hauser, and right now we're crossing the main channel of the Newport Beach Harbor. Of course, Newport Beach has a very long and proud nautical history, and that's what this adventure is all about. In fact, before this day is over, we're going to actually go on board 2 of the most historic and colorful boats ever connected with Newport Beach. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be out on the water in search of California's gold. Now, when you talk about boats, and you talk about history, and you talk about Newport, and you talk about fun, it doesn't get any more historic or fun than the Balboa Island Ferry, and that's where we're going to be spending the whole day. The adventure starts right now on the ferry. So here's the deal. The cars come off the ferry, and then it's time for us. The lights turn green. We drive on the ferry very carefully. All the way to the end. We've got the best view in the house right here. Stop your engine, set your brake, and get ready for the ride. Now, the Balboa Island Ferry has been a part of life in Newport Beach since the early 1900s, taking cars and people on the short trip from Balboa Island to the Balboa Peninsula and vice versa. And just how long is this journey? Well, the entire trip is less than 1,000 feet and takes just a couple of minutes. But for those on board, it's very exciting. Okay, we're moving, and you're used to this. How many years have you been riding on this ferry boat?
Oh, at least 50.
Really?
Yes.
And it really hasn't changed that much over the years, has it? I have a feeling you've done this before.
Many times. I have my grandson Ty with me. This is his first trip.
It's a fixture of this area.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know, it's kind of... when I was dating my wife, I took her on this, like, of course it was all fogged in, but try to get the romance going, right?
Are you riding this thing to cut your time down or to take more time?
Take more time. Actually, we came out the other night at about 11 o'clock. This runs till midnight. At night, it was beautiful. At night, we're about the only people out here. We had to
rode
wait.
the ferry at
Back
11
and forth, yeah.
Back and forth.
Back and forth, absolutely.
We got a first-time group from
Vancouver.
From Canada.
Canada,
so
that's
what
right.
got you on the Balboa Ferry today?
Apparently it's the thing to do when you're in Newport.
So you had heard that?
That's right, and so far our expectations have been exceeded.
Wait a minute, you've only been on board 10 seconds.
Yeah, but look at the view. and we've got a welcoming crew as well. I mean, feel pretty special.
Well, yeah, we've got it. Yes. Hey, you're in California. You're on television. That's what's supposed to happen to you when you come here, right?
That's what it's all about.
I get on here and I'm always, this is like my favorite part of the day. I'm out here on the water. Look at this beautiful day with the choppy water. It's just beautiful. Sometimes it's just crystal clear, and I always get to talk to the ferry guys, you know, and ask them who's catching what out there, and when, you know, during lobster season, how many lobster they're getting. And
so this is kind of a way to find out what's going on in the community, too.
Everybody knows everybody around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty tight little community.
And this is a pretty old-fashioned way of getting back and forth, but I have a feeling it works just as well today as it ever did.
I'm sure it does, and you know, I love this ferry. I just love it. I think it's so much fun. It's just a short trip, but what a nice trip.
Well, we're here. You got to get to work.
I got to get in my vehicle.
Because nothing slows up the delivery of the United States mail.
That's the truth.
Lots of local kids work on the ferry, don't
Exactly. A lot of local people, you know, from high school, they get the job during the summer, and it's a great summer job too, you know. And like me, I got out of high school, I just started working here full time, and it's a great job.
So wait a minute. This transition from a summer job to a full-time job.
Right, and actually they're planning on getting my captain's license so I can start driving them back and forth. My brother who works out here just got this captain's license, so started piloting the ferry.
So you're going to go in your career from deckhand to ticket taker to captain.
Yes, sir. Yep. Need 350 days of sea time, and once you have that, then you can get your captain's license.
You'll be a licensed captain on the Balboa Ferry.
Yes, sir.
And do you ever get tired? Because look, it's just a short little trip back and forth.
225 yards.
225 yards. Do you ever get tired of just going back and forth and back and forth?
Well, sometimes it gets a little monotonous, but it's the passing parade that makes the job interesting.
What do you mean, the passing parade?
Well, there's all kinds of people and different things happening.
When did it turn the corner and become not just a convenience, but a part of the lore, a part of the history, a part of the fabric of Newport Beach? Did it almost start that way from the beginning?
I think it was sort of that way in the beginning. You know, the ferry boats had a progression. First there was a one-car ferry, and then a two-car ferry, and then three-car ferry, and then two three-car ferries, and now we have three three-car ferries. It's been about the same for about the last 50 years.
Because you know, the locals really think of this as their own. They think of this as part of the community.
Oh yeah, we were shut down last week for 4 days to do some dock reconstruction. People were really upset. You know, they didn't like that at all. People count on using the ferry.
I have a feeling, though, the ferry isn't going to go anywhere. It's here for the duration.
I hope so. I hope so.
We have arrived at Balboa Island, safe and sound. Yet another crossing has been successfully completed. Let's wait for the bump and we'll know we're here. We're here. Okay, get ready. We're going big time on a big boat, 136 feet long to be exact. It's the Wild Goose, and its claim to fame is that it used to belong to John Wayne. It was his pride and joy. Well, these days it's owned and operated by Hornblower Cruises, who were nice enough to take us around Newport Bay on what has to be one of the most historic boats anywhere in California. We're on board the Wild Goose. It says it right there, Newport Beach, California. And I'm standing with, introduce yourself to everybody, Bert.
My name is Captain Bert Minshall.
And he was a captain, too. You were the captain for?
John Wayne. For the last 3 years, he was alive.
And before that, you were first mate on board this boat for 13 years.
That's correct.
So this was John Wayne's boat for 16 years, right up until he died.
That's right, yeah.
Well, what was it like? I don't even know where to begin. How do you tell the stories of John Wayne and the Wild Goose?
Well, I feel very lucky to be on board at the time. My brother got me the job.
Now, when did you first meet John Wayne?
Oh, it was about 6 months after I joined the vessel. We were in, I think it was La Paz, Mexico. And he showed up. We didn't meet him until the next morning. They arrived in the evening. And so anyway, the captain asked me to meet the Duke. So we stepped into the main salon on the lower deck. And we had a little small talk, how I served a 5-year apprenticeship as a ship's carpenter, etc. And then all of a sudden, I noticed him looking at my new shoes. And he goes, and then walks up to me, puts his hand on my shoulder. But always spit on new shoes for good luck.
He spit on your shoes?
Right.
That must have scared you to death.
I was dumbfounded.
Was it informal on board? How did that work when he was on board? Did you know it? Was there a sense that the guy was here?
Oh yeah, we'd be more on our toes. Our tan uniforms pressed, clean, good shoes. He used to get his stateroom doors on the other side of the ship. So he would get up at, say, 7:30 or so, and walk around the deck, exercise, maybe 20 times.
We're coming into John Wayne's stateroom. And Bert, this is a pretty good-sized bedroom here.
It looks a little wide on a normal king-size bed, and I think it was made that way for the Duke.
So this is his actual bed?
Yeah, he'd sleep on that side. He's 6'4.5", 250 pounds, maybe a little more. And Pilar had some stuff around here on the top. Religious, she was a Catholic.
But basically this is
the original painting that Duke picked out.
Oh, wow.
And, well, originally this woodwork was yellow, kind of a speckled yellow. They varnished it to make it darker.
Cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's look at the bathroom. This is interesting in here because it's so big. Look at the size.
There's a fiberglass bathtub. Yeah.
Wow. Look at the size of this bathroom. This is huge.
This might be porcelain.
This is as big as a lot of boats.
A little hotel.
Yeah.
But there used to be a crack in the bottom of this tub when it was a fiberglass, a right angle crack around here. And we'd fix that thing over and over again. It kept re-cracking, you know. But
you remember every little detail about this thing.
Sure, I know every square inch of this thing.
Now, walking down here, this pretty much looks like the way it would have looked, right?
Yeah, this is all original except for this higher spot here, the flying bridge.
But all of these portholes would have been here just like this.
We used to polish this with brasso.
Did he like to run a tight ship? Did he know much about the sea?
He knew enough, so we tried to keep the boat immaculate like it is now.
He knew about the sea, though, didn't he? He knew a little bit about ships.
Oh, sure. He claimed that one of his biggest disappointments in life was missing out at getting into Annapolis. You know, he may have ended up as an admiral instead of a cowboy star.
So he applied to Annapolis?
Yeah, in his early 20s, I believe.
And just barely missed getting in.
Missed by one place, I was told.
See, isn't that interesting? If he had gotten in Annapolis, he probably never would have gone into the movies.
That's correct, yeah. Would have been a whole different lifestyle.
Okay, we're coming down to the main deck to see the most famous table in Newport Beach. What happened right here on this table, Bert?
Well, the table could tell some stories, I'm sure. I have to be diplomatic and watch what I say. But he would have dinners here in the evenings with his family and friends, card games, and backgammon.
And this is the original table.
I believe it's koa wood, K-O-A, I believe, from Hawaii.
It's amazing that they saved this.
There was a split.
Yeah, there is a split here.
Someone sat on the end, it split, and they glued it together. Now, it might be the other side. I remember painting this deck many a time.
Painting the deck, varnishing the deck.
Well, this is Hornblow's idea, I think. It used to be light grey paint. When I first joined the ship, it was a maroon paint, which I didn't care for. But yeah, I've been on my hands and knees with a 3 or 4 inch brush painting for hours on here.
Yeah.
I don't know why we didn't use a roller. It was a lot quicker. And we enjoyed taking care of the boat.
How many crew members did you have?
Generally 6 full-time crew members.
6 full-time crew members?
You'd have the captain, the engineer, the first mate, maybe 2 deckhands, and a steward. The steward would take care of the guests' bunks, make up the bunks.
What about a chef?
Oh, we had a chef also. His name was Billy Sweat. He was with us for 12 years.
What kind of food did he specialize in?
In fact, I was mentioning the other day, I said, I miss those steaks we used to have on the Wild Goose. The finest meat I've tasted. Well, he said it should taste good. It was $30 a pound in those days.
So John Wayne didn't skimp when it came to food, to his steaks.
Heck no. In fact, he came in the galley one time and said, no crew is going to eat as good as the crew on the Wild Goose. And he was right.
So the crew ate well as well.
I would gain about 10 pounds every trip.
Basically, this was always a family boat for John Wayne, wasn't it? I mean, that's his primary use of this boat.
Yes, that's right. It was his great getaway from Hollywood.
With his wife?
Wife and the children. I think they were the happiest times of his life.
It's absolutely wonderful just walking on board here. We're now leaving the stern of the boat. I almost hate to call it a boat. It's big enough to be a ship. We're leaving the stern and we're going up to the bow to visit the wheelhouse, where you spent a lot of time. A lot of that time, John Wayne was with you. Now, there's a pose for you right there. Here's Bert. We're in the wheelhouse, and Bert, you actually sat in this chair with your feet up like this.
That's right. I would stand my 4-hour watch like this, watching out for ships or buoys or whatever.
Well, you're recreating history right here and doing a darn good job of it right there. You feel comfortable like this, don't you?
And the Duke would sit here occasionally, too.
Really? And look over your shoulder?
Well, yeah, watch what's going on and maybe have a cocktail or two.
Absolutely. All right, so you're the old captain, sit where you used to sit. Here's the new captain. You don't sit in that chair and put your feet up too, do you?
We reserve that for a bird.
Okay, good enough.
We leave that for a bird.
Now, does this look pretty much the way it would have looked years ago?
Pretty close, and I'm sure Bert can correct me even better. The bridge engine room telegraph is original. The ship's steering wheel is all original. Has the original old binnacle with the added benefits of newer stuff that the Coast Guard nowadays requires for us to have.
And when you took over as captain, how important was it to you, the whole idea that John Wayne, this was John Wayne's boat?
Honestly, this is what I feel has absolutely made my career. I remember starting out really young, and the one boat that I wanted to drive was the Wild Goose, and you know, fortunately enough, here I am, and I would pay for the chance. Luckily, I don't have to, but I would pay for the chance.
Do you feel his spirit here, kind of the sense of
I definitely like to think so.
Right here.
I definitely like to think so. Yeah, definitely like to think so. Especially we're fortunate enough to have Bert come by and visit us, and it's very important to us keeping the history alive of the old yacht.
Bert, come on over here, because you haven't. Would you stand right here? Where would you stand? Would you?
Right here. And rather than mess up the polished brass, we'd stay like this.
I got you.
And we still do that to this day.
Does it have a good steering mechanism? This started off as a minesweeper, so it really wasn't.
Well, that's the autopilot. You know, it's quite easy to. We used to have a knob here on the compass to put on autopilot, but this is a little.
Well, they had to update it a little bit.
There you go. Yeah.
How does it feel being back in the wheelhouse?
Wonderful. I'm ready to go to Seattle right now. Or Mexico.
Now here's a picture of John Wayne standing right at the wheel. You took this picture.
Right.
Do you remember that day?
I certainly do, yeah. His whole body was slathered with suntan lotion, and that's the reason there's a little shine on his cheek.
Uh-huh. Well, he was protecting himself against the rays.
Someone stole that hat in the last year he was alive. We were doing a charter in Seattle, and one of the guests stole his hat, and he was ticked off.
Uh-oh. Now we've done it. We've put Bert back at the wheel.
Back at home, back at home.
How does it feel being back at the wheel?
Feels great.
This is the real thing, too. He really is doing this thing. Now, you're the captain now.
Yes, sir.
This boat is no longer, obviously, you know, John Wayne's boat, but it's still the Wild Goose, and it's got a new life
Oh,
now.
you bet, you bet. Still, I mean, arguably the most famous, you know, yacht in America, I would say. You know, thank goodness from the years that Bert was on it and all that stuff and the reputation that she has. But, yeah, nowadays we do corporate parties, weddings, birthday parties, and public cruises, stuff like that. And the old girl had to go to work since John Wayne passed, unfortunately.
Yeah, she had to pay her keep somehow.
Right. Now she has to pay her keep, yeah.
But I bet you that there's still this wonderful cachet that this used to be John Wayne's boat. Still today, that's got to mean a lot.
It carries its obvious weight more so in gold, and it's a big boat, you know. So it we have people come here that do a pilgrimage out to the West Coast, and they show up at the fence and just admire the old boat just because they remember either when they were in town as a kid and saw the Duke and Bert going along in those days, or you know, just the Bert's book, or just through song and fable of the Americana that the Wild Goose is.
Well, it's a legendary boat. Bert's a legendary captain. Keep your eyes on the road, though, Bert.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing your memories with us. Thank you for allowing us on board, Captain.
Absolute pleasure.
We've had an absolutely wonderful day here in Newport Beach. We've been visiting two boats. This one, the Wild Goose, and then earlier today we were on board the old Balboa Island Ferry.
Oh, sure.
Which has been around a long time as well.
A lot of history you saw today.
So we've been on a big boat and a little boat.
That's right.
And we have had an absolutely wonderful day here in Newport Beach on the water. We were looking for California's gold, and boy, did we find it. We've had an absolutely wonderful day. And there he is right there. He's California's gold as well. Still cutting a pretty good form there at the wheel. He's keeping us on the straight and narrow.
I'm ready to go to Seattle.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed our day on the water in Newport Beach. A lot of history there, and if you'd like to go on this adventure again, share it with family or friends, or perhaps donate a copy to your local school or library. It's available on video cassette and on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.
Warm sunshine, swaying palm trees, and breathtaking ocean views make Orange County the OC, a relaxing vacation destination that is always in season. 42 miles of inviting beaches are right next door to world-class shopping and internationally renowned art festivals. Close by are championship golf courses and two of California's famous attractions, the Disneyland Resort and Knott's Berry Farm. Log on to visittheoc.com today. Learn why in the OC, it's forever summer.
Costa Mesa, the best of Southern California for pleasure or business. You'll find there's plenty to do from morning till midnight. Just minutes from sparkling beaches and Costa Mesa dining's an art and shopping's a passion. Savor attractions like South Coast Plaza and the renowned Theater and Arts District. Choose from 9 luxury hotels, then dine, shop, and play in Costa Mesa, where it's all about the experience.